Blog Talk Radio.
Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter podcast, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it here. My name is Eric Lorta, and I'm here with England's adopted son, Joe Habib. We have a great show for you today, and as always, you can catch us on the web at ringsidereporter.com. If you want to call and ask questions, you can call in right now at 323-870-3857, and we'll be here till about 9 o'clock tonight. Beeb, today, we're going to talk about Superfly 3 is set, and we'll give you the rundown. We'll give you the whole card, so we'll let you know how that goes. Jermell Charlo has landed in some hot water, so I'll give you the rundown on that. He's landed on our train wreck of the week. Now, listen up. Before we get started, Ringside Robert gave me a call yesterday. Now, Robert lives in Northern California, and if you follow in the news, many of you know that there's wildfires going on there right now. Robert actually called to let me know that the fires are very close to his home, and he was actually evacuated. He's safe. We don't know if his house will be safe, but I know him and his family are safe, which is the most important thing. So obviously he won't be on the show tonight, and we wish nothing but the best for him and hope everything has a happy outcome. So we're thinking about you, Robert, and we miss you. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get started. The fight of the weekend, Mikey Garcia versus Robert Easter. Beeb, who picked Billy Joe Saunders over David Lemieux?
You.
Beeb, who picked Tony Bellew twice over David Hay?
You.
And Beeb, who picked Robert Easter to go the distance with Mikey Garcia?
Well, that was a very weak bet, but you did.
Yes.
You didn't have the guts to just bet him straight, but that's all right. We sucked you in.
Well,
or you sucked us in.
You know what they say, Beeb? Winners tell jokes and losers say deal.
That's it.
Now, speaking of losers,
We'll get
Georgie Porgy paid up earlier. He paid up earlier with his pie in the face. When are you guys going to learn that I'm the champ? When are you guys going to learn that I got this belt for a reason? Beeb, it's time to pay the fiddler.
Get it.
Do it.
Do it. Go ahead. Don't smash my nose. Oh. Oh. Okay. Oh, my God. That's horrible. Oh. Oh, such a debilitating event. Oh. Okay, give me the towel, please.
No.
Oh, my God.
Don't give him the towel.
That's what you get.
That's what he gets.
I should have learned my
No
lesson.
towel.
Oh, that's horrible.
Let him sit there in it. Yeah, that's what you get. That's what you get. Remember, and
That's
still,
horrible.
hashtag and still undefeated. That's right. Beeb, I'm a force to be reckoned with.
Oh, you know what, Mike? Oh.
And let me
This
just
is
tell you,
horrible.
let me just tell you and everyone else, I take absolutely no pleasure in this. I take no pleasure in crumbling Beeb Industries every bet that we make. I take absolutely no pleasure in that.
Go get me the spit bucket. I got to take an 8 count here.
What he gets live on the air. That's what happens.
horrible. That's
That's
horrible.
what happens. Boom. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys about this fight because I'm the champ and I got it like that. Mikey Garcia wins a unanimous decision over Ohio's own. I'm going to say a disputed unanimous decision. I thought it was, I thought it could go either way. A disputed decision over Robert Easter Jr. to become the unified WBC and IBF lightweight champion. It took Garcia a couple of rounds, man, to get started here, but he really started to pick up the pace. Robert Easter fought really well. He really did. He changed up his style from what we're used to seeing. He started the fight with a very sharp jab, and that's not something and he fought tall. Typically, Easter wants to fight on the inside. Easter was the busier fighter in the early rounds. But honestly, man, I think the body work from Garcia and just the fatigue caught up with Easter in the later rounds. His work rate dropped, and he started spending more and more time along the ropes, which is just dangerous against a guy like Garcia. The pressure Garcia was putting on him also just had him on the back foot all night. Was not good, man. Garcia knocked Easter down in round 3, which really scared me because I thought he was going to be out. Easter got up. He was in big trouble. It was a good combination. It was a right hand followed by a left hook. Easter later said that his feet were crossed. I didn't see a shot of his feet, so I can't really tell you. Just going on what he said, it said his feet were crossed. He was out of position clearly and got knocked down. Not to take anything away. I mean, he was going to get knocked down anyway. But he was able to get back up, make it out of the round. Overall, I thought this was a good fight for both guys. I saw a lot of good things from the new trainer with Robert Easter. And, of course, Mikey Garcia just seems to get better and better. Just a solid all-around fighter. I think Garcia is just on a different level than Easter, man. I had the fight scored 117-110 for Mikey Garcia. It's hard to find weaknesses in this guy's game. It really is, man. Before we talk about after the fight, Beeb, what were your thoughts on this fight? What did Robert Easter do right, and what did Garcia do right also in the fight?
Well, here's the interesting thing. This is the third opponent in a row that you could say was actually bigger than Mikey Garcia, not Robert Garcia, excuse me. So he was undersized in the last 3 fights. Robert Easter was much bigger than him. Lipinets is much bigger than him, and Adrian Broner is bigger than him too. So the interesting thing is you got these bigger guys, arguably maybe more physically stronger guys in there, but he's the one, Mikey Garcia, being the aggressive one, moving forward and actually pushing these guys back and making them hesitant to step in and throw shots with him. Robert Easter was doing very well with the jab, but nothing was really coming behind it because he was concerned about the counter-punching abilities of Mikey Garcia. And Mikey Garcia can punch. He has enough pop to keep you honest. You don't really see anyone walk through his shots. He hits hard enough to get your attention. But here's the thing. Paulo Malignaggi mentioned about the positioning of Mikey Garcia and how he was having better success positioning himself better than Robert Easter was. But the big part of that is, and I've said this many times with fighters, certain fighters are just so dangerous because when they're making a defensive move, they're already in position where they can go right back on the offensive and transition right back into the offensive because the movements and the they can make a feint, the movements and catch and shoot. Everything is very subtle. It's not like they're moving excessive and they're not using a lot of the ring to get out of danger. Mikey Garcia moves just enough to get out of harm's way, but still keep himself in position where he can counter it. And Robert Easter, the big difference was when he's being pushed back and he's being forced back or he's on the ropes in a defensive posture, he cannot fire back. So he's not capable to the level of Mikey Garcia to transition into offense, from defense to offense and offense to defense quickly enough. So when he's on the defensive, he's on the defensive. You don't have to worry about anything coming back at you if you're the opponent, because he just does not have that ability to switch gears like Mikey Garcia does. And you can talk and name a handful of fighters that have that ability. So that's the big difference here. So he was concerned about firing anything else behind that jab, and when he was being pushed back, he wasn't able to counterpunch with Mikey Garcia. Whereas Mikey Garcia, he can fight you on the front foot, the back foot. He can fight you inside, outside, mid range. So any way you want it, he can offer it up to you, and that's the big difference. A guy that can bring more tools to the dance, a guy that has a toolbox with an array of weaponry in there, and that's not to take anything away from Robert Easter. Robert Easter fought to the best of his ability. He fought hard, but it's so hard to fight a guy like Garcia because when you can sit there and say, no matter what I do, I'm in danger here. And the thing about Mikey Garcia too is you don't even have to give him much. He can spot those little openings, those little mistakes you make. You may block one punch, and he may get you to move that hand one way, and he's thinking, I'm going to throw this punch just to get this guy to react a certain way and parry it down just so I can open up my other punch. And a lot of guys just are not as cerebral as that, especially when they're in the heat of the moment, under the gun, when they're in the kitchen. Mikey Garcia is a very methodical, calm. He's like a surgeon, and this is why I'm so high on Mikey Garcia. Now, arguably, you could say right now that he may just be the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. And I'm not a big pound-for-pound guy, but in terms of just overall skill set and just overall ability, I have no problem saying that you could argue that Mikey Garcia is the best boxer in the world right now. I don't think that's an outlandish statement to make right now.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think it's a crazy statement. I mean, I think there's fighters that are better, but I don't think it's a crazy statement. I mean, listen, man, like you said last night, it started at 126, 130, 135. So yeah, I mean, I think he's a good fighter. I think he really is, and it's hard to see anybody really beating him. But you got Vasyl Lomachenko right there in his division. That's a crazy fight. I had Lomachenko prior to that, prior to the fight last night. I mean, it's tough to see anybody beating Lomachenko. I don't know, man. But it's tough to see anybody beating Garcia too. I mean, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I like Garcia in that fight.
It's funny because Mike Montero had he tweeted out something last night and said he picked Lomachenko if they ever fought, and he gave some pretty good points and everything like that. So go check him out on Twitter. But yeah, man, I mean, I think it's a pick 'em fight. I think it's
I can argue that
pick 'em fight. Because I can argue either way for both guys to win. So it's one of those things. Now let's talk about the. First of all, I want to talk about like Robert Easter. Did you notice? I noticed it right away, and maybe it was the game plan. But what did you think about his new trainer and everything like that? I thought he looked a lot different than what Garcia is used to, and I thought Garcia had to take a round or two to adjust to that because I don't think that's what he was expecting. Well,
the big thing was they had him settling down, not getting over anxious, not leaning in too much. So there was some things that were corrected from Robert Easter. You could see it. And Cunningham is an excellent trainer. He's a disciplinarian. And, when he sees something he doesn't like, he's going to let you know right away in that corner, right then and there. He's going to be like, come on, man, you got to do this. Come on, man, you got to do that. And he's not quiet about it. He's very animated about it, not to the point where he's out of control, but he's the consummate authoritarian in there. And he does it. And he does it when he needs to do it, and then when he needs to comfort the fighter, come on, man, you could do this. He's a really good trainer, Kevin Cunningham. I like him a lot. Him a lot. Yeah. And he got the most out of Robert Easter last night. And I'm a lot of times I tend to downplay the trainers and say the fighter has to be the one in there doing what he's supposed to be doing. Certain fighters train themselves, blah 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 blah. But Robert Easter needed some guidance. He needed to have someone tell him, these are your strengths, son. This is what you need to do. And I think he had that in Kevin Cunningham. You could tell certain fighters need that instruction. At this point in his career, Manny Pacquiao, I could train him, and he's gonna win fights. He is who he is.
Right.
But Robert Easter is still young enough where he could learn things. He could have a certain mentality instilled in him that, you got to calm down, son. I know you want to slug with these guys, but that ain't the name of the game. And I think Kevin Cunningham was able to instill that in him last night. And he was able to have him implement a much more patient, poised type game plan. And, whatever you can say about the situation, I think Mikey Garcia, he's just that good. It wasn't like Easter was doing a lot of things wrong. It's just that you don't have to do a lot of things wrong. You could just make make a move like give Mike Garcia like a sliver of an opening, and he's going to find it. And he's going to capitalize. So you could be fighting a perfect fight and still, have a lot of problems against the Mikey Garcia. So I'm not going to be too hard on Robert Easter. I'm just that high on Mikey.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm just that high on Mikey.
Absolutely, man. And I think Easter can come back from this. I really do, especially with the training he's got, especially with like I said, with the way he looked last night. It kind of looked like a work in progress, but you could tell some major steps have been taken. Some major steps have been taken to improve, his style and everything like that. And we all knew from the get-go that, he doesn't fight his size, and he needs to fight his size. I mean, it looks like a little Tommy Hearns out there. You know what I mean? He's got that size. He's got that long arms. He's got the big, the reach and everything like that. So, and he's got pop. He's got pop in his hands, and it's just a matter of, making a few tweaks. I always said, with Easter, could you imagine like Manny Stewart with that guy?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good thing,
Yeah, that's a real good match.
So let's talk about after the fight, Garcia called out Errol Spence, who's at welterweight. It was a huge jump for Garcia from 135 to go straight to 147. Now he has fought at 140, fought Bronner at 140, but Bronner's no Errol Spence either. It would be a big mistake, in my opinion. I don't think that fight gets made. But they seemed pretty adamant last night to make that fight. I mean, from Garcia, from Robert Garcia, the trainer, to Mikey Garcia, that's the fight he wants. And Robert Garcia said, hey, there's not a whole lot of weaknesses in Errol Spence, but we'll put it together. We'll get it done. I mean, I don't know if he's going to get talked out of it or what. I mean, clearly the promoters are the same, so that fight can get done. That's a bad move, though. That is a bad move. If he wants to move up to welterweight, I'd rather see him. I could see him fight Danny Garcia. I could see him fight Sean Porter. I think him and Danny Garcia is a good fight. Him and Sean Porter is a good fight. But him and Errol Spence would kill that guy. I don't think that's a close fight at all. Beeb, what were your thoughts about this, man?
Well, Mikey Garcia's dad and his brother Robert were trying to talk him out of it. But I saw an interview, I think I tweeted it to you, when Robert Garcia was talking about it, and he didn't sound like he was against it this time. Like, I guess Mikey convinced his father and his brother that, this is the right fight. He must see something in Spence. Sort of like how Sugar Ray Leonard was sitting in the crowd watching Marvin Hagler fight John the Beast Mugabe, and that one fight made him come out of retirement and want Marvin Hagler after passing up on the fight for 3 years prior to that.
Right.
So Mikey Garcia must see something that we do not see. Again, he's such a intellectual boxing mind. So it's hard to not kind of give him credence to whatever he's saying. We have to kind of, take him serious. If he says he can beat him, I mean, it looks like a huge ask. It's hard to imagine, but stranger things have happened in this sport. And like I said, Robert Garcia said this is the next fight. This looks like it's going to be the next fight. He said it yesterday with some certainty. So this could be reality, Eric. At the beginning, I thought it was a publicity stunt. I thought this was just BS. But Errol Spence showed up. He was watching Mikey. He was scouting him. He said he welcomes the challenge. I don't think you'll see a Lomachenko fight next, because Lomachenko will probably fight Ray Beltran, and they're not in a hurry to deal and do business with Bob Arum right away.
Right.
So Errol Spence doesn't have anyone signed yet. This could happen. This could happen. I mean, this could happen in January. From the indication I got from Robert Garcia in that interview, this could be next, as crazy it may sound.
That is insane, man. I'll tell you what.
It's insane. It's hard for me to imagine. I can't picture a way Mikey wins this fight, but
no.
I don't know.
Let's talk about that for a second, okay? I mean, because he's not beating Errol Spence. I think that's just, I don't think he could beat Errol Spence anyway, but, hey, what I think doesn't really matter, But that being said, let's take it for instance. Okay, so is it a win-win for Mikey? I mean, does he move up and either he beats Errol Spence, and he's, I mean, pound for pound king. I mean, he's the man, period. But if he doesn't, if he loses to Errol Spence, well, hey, Spence is 147. He was 135. He was moving up in weight. You know, I mean, is this a win-win? And, you know, and it kind of looks on paper like a win-win. But if he gets blown out, that's a different ball game. If he gets blown out in this fight, it's a different ball game. You know, if he gets hurt, if mentally, when you get, if he just gets steamrolled, what do? You know, I don't know. It's tough.
Does Mikey? Could you say that Mikey may have quicker hands than Errol Spence, or I don't know?
No,
not really, right? I'm trying to figure some type of I don't know, maybe timing. I'm trying to figure this out. I don't know.
I don't know what the angle is because I don't really see an upside. I really don't see an upside.
Can he win rounds? I mean, can he do what Kell Brook did? Win rounds and then maybe fade late? Like, in a scenario like that, would his stock rise? Yeah, probably. But can he do as much as Kell Brook did? But Kell Brook's a big guy too. He's a big, strong guy.
Huge guy. Yeah, Kell Brook's
so
guy. He was dwarfed by Spence, man. I thought Spence was bigger than Kell Brook.
Yeah, I did.
I thought Spence was bigger than Kell Brook, and Kell Brook is huge.
That's why I was getting aggravated when everyone's saying, "Oh, Kell Brook struggled to make weight." I don't think the cut's an easy cut for Errol Spence either. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure Errol Spence walks around at 170 just like Kell Brook does. You know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So it's a tough ask.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of upside to it. Put it that way.
Yeah.
You know, I would like to see him fight Lomachenko. I would really like to see him fight him, but again, they're on two different sides of the street. You know, and after Mikey and Errol had their little falling out, I don't see that fight happening. I really don't. I mean, he's not going to put him in there with him and give him a payday. Yeah. I mean, not to mention, you know, with Al Heyman and all those, he's not anxious to get that done. You know, and you're right.
Yeah,
he's going to, I mean, he's going to fight, you know, Ray Beltran next, which is I think it's an easy fight for him, but it'll give him a title. And who knows, man? I don't know. We'll see where it goes.
That's an interesting fight because Ray has a way of imposing his will on guys, but that's tough.
Yeah.
Tough fight.
All right, let's talk about Louis Ortiz versus Razvan Kajanu. Louis Ortiz knocked out Razvan Kajanu in the second round. It was fairly one-sided. I think it was a good fight by Ortiz, but I think it was a good comeback opponent for him also. Kajanu is not exactly a killer in the heavyweight division. You know, he looked good. I mean, he looked like Ortiz, but again, I think you got to consider who was in front of him. This was a good get your confidence back fight. You know, what were your thoughts?
This more than solidifies my opinion of Ortiz. I honestly think he's the third best heavyweight in the world. Kajanu, no one beats him that easily, and that was a hell of a punch by Ortiz. Beautifully set up. The way he opened it up with that right hook, and that right hook kind of pushed him right in the line of fire of that straight left. I just think Ortiz is a solid fighter, dangerous counterpuncher. Hit you with those shots you don't see, but this he's got a lot of snap to his punches too. I honestly believe he's the third best heavyweight in the world right now. I think he's very dangerous, and I think a lot of guys are going to avoid him. You never hear his name being mentioned to fight Dillian Whyte, Derek Chisora, or any of those guys because they know the risk reward. It'd be interesting to see if he can get like a Joseph Parker fight or something like that. That'd be great. But I wouldn't rule out the possibility of a rematch with Deontay Wilder because the WBC came out with a statement. I think it was yesterday that we are not going to exercise the mandatory. We're going to give Deontay Wilder another. We're going to let him put it off to the end of next year. So he's going to have almost a year and a half right now. Or actually, no, that's not even a year and a half. That's a year and 10 months. Year and 9 months. They're giving him that much time where he doesn't have to fight his mandatory. That's crazy. That's like Floyd Mayweather type stuff. So I guess being the mandatory challenger doesn't really mean much in boxing today. It all depends on whether or not the sanctioning body wants to enforce the mandatory. I always thought that it was, I think for heavyweights it was like every once a year they had to make their mandatory, but other weight classes every 6 months. Deontay Wilder's given a year and 9, or year and 10 months to make his mandatory. So once again, I'm not going to complain about it, but it just shows you how inconsistent these sanctioning bodies are with their rules and how they enforce the rules when it comes to certain fighters. This just tells me that Jose Sulaiman is really holding out and hoping very strongly that they can make that Joshua fight. He doesn't want to do anything that can jeopardize that. So kudos to him for that. But yeah, I think that we could see a Luis Ortiz Deontay Wilder rematch. I think it's very possible.
And that's not a gimme fight, man. I'd rather see that than Brazil. That's for sure. I don't think Brazil is going to be the next fight. I just because I think Deontay Wilder has heard Eddie Hearn say over and over again, "Oh, we already know he's going to fight Brazil," and I think he just wants to be able to tell Eddie Hearn, I told you I wasn't going to fight Brazil. Like, he doesn't want Eddie Hearn to be right. You know what I mean? So in spite of what Eddie Hearn said, he's going to not fight Brazil just because of Eddie Hearn, in my opinion. Yeah.
That's the way I see it.
We'll see, man. Mario Barrios versus Jose Roman. Mario Barrios scored a TKO over Jose Roman at the end of the 8th round. Roman wouldn't come out for the 9th round. He just kind of stopped it on a stool. Barrios looked really good in this fight. I mean, I think he dominated from start to finish. I mean, it was like bad. I mean, it was like a one-sided beatdown. So
yeah,
there you go.
Not much to really comment there.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see Barrios again against maybe some stiffer competition, but yeah, what can you say, All right, let's get started with across the pond here at the O2 Arena. I believe it was O2.
Yeah. It was.
Dillian Whyte versus Joseph Parker. Dillian Whyte wins the unanimous decision over Joseph Parker in an all-out war. The final scores were 113-112, 115-110, and 114-111, all for Dillian Whyte. I thought Whyte came out very strong in the early part of the fight, man. Both fighters looked really good. Whyte scored a knockdown in the 2nd round, but it was actually a headbutt that did the damage. It wasn't actually a knockdown. I had to watch a replay because I didn't think it was I thought it was a legit knockdown. Beeb said he saw it right away, man, but I had to go to the replay,
Yeah, it actually looked like a slip to me.
Yeah.
Like a push down, not a slip, excuse me. Looked like a push down. I didn't see a clean punch land even in real time. And a lot of people, even the commentators, questioned whether or not a punch was landed. And then in the replay, clearly showed it was a headbutt. So,
yeah. So, in the 9th round, Parker was caught with a big left hook and went down for the 2nd time in the fight. That was in the 9th round. Now, Parker came on strong the last 2 rounds, knocked Whyte down in the 12th round. Whyte made it back to his feet, somehow survived till the end. What a fight, man. What a great fight. Possibly a candidate for fight of the year. And I'll tell you what, man, I think I had Dillion. I think I picked Whyte in this over Parker. I'm not sure who I picked.
Yeah.
But when the weigh-in happened, I texted Beeb. I texted the weigh-in photos. Dillian Whyte weighed in at what 262?
258.
I mean, was it 258?
250. Yeah, 258.
He looked terrible. Like he didn't run a mile for this fight, man. And Beeb texted me back, said Parker outboxes him easily, and I thought I might be switching my pick.
I was so wrong.
Yeah. I was shocked. I was really shocked at the way Dillian Whyte was able to box, carry that weight, but he did look like, he looked a little tired, but again, you're going 12 rounds. You guys got, you're got 200 pounds on top of you, and you're grinding with each other, and it's a tough one, man. So, but man, he did it, man. So, there you go. I'll be happy. I tell you what, I know everybody's a lot of naysayers with the DAZN and everything, man. At least we'll have access to these type fights. And B brought up a good point before we came up on the air. He said that you'll be able to see the entire card, and he's right.
Yeah,
the entire card from start to finish, man. And so that's going to be really cool, man. And I hate the fact that we have another pay service, where we got to pay $10 a month for it or whatever it is. But it's better than just chancing it on a stream, because sometimes you get the stream, sometimes you don't. And, you got to be real careful with those. I mean, you really do, because you get in there. Sometimes you can get a virus. It depends on what kind of computer you're using, but sometimes you get a virus. I mean, it's a mess. It's just, I'd rather not even navigate it. I'd rather just go ahead and watch the fight if I can. So, B, what were your thoughts on Dillian Whyte, Joseph Parker?
I was lucky enough to have a flawless stream yesterday, but you know what else pisses you off when you have those streams? Those friggin' pop-ups you have to keep clicking to get them out of there. Oh, it's so aggravating.
Yeah.
I'm gonna explain to you right off the bat why I thought the knockdown, why I knew the knockdown was not legit knockdown right from the beginning. Because when I looked at Dillian Whyte's hand, the left hand was like at Joseph Parker's chest level, and it didn't even look like he hit him. And I'm saying the only contact he could have made with that left hand would have been his chest. And how many times you see a guy get knocked down from like getting hit in the chest? So I kind of thought like maybe he pushed him down or whatever. But I'm going to say a few things here. Full disclosure, I picked Parker. I did end up scoring this fight 113 and 112 for Dillian Whyte. I thought it was razor close. But here's the thing. If I am not forced to score that, well, I wasn't forced to score that 10-8. I could have scored it 10-9 if I wanted to. And I was debating on whether or not to do that, because I thought Parker was clearly winning that second round. But I scored it 10-8. Arguably, I could have scored it 10-9. But with that being said, if that knockdown is correctly ruled, a push down or knockdown from the head, but whatever, and it is not an official knockdown on the record books, and I score that round 10-9 for Parker, then I have Parker winning the fight 114 and 112. Now, granted, I gave Parker the third round. A lot of people gave Whyte the third round. I give the third round to Whyte, and I score that 10-9, then it's a draw. But some people even went as far as to give Whyte rounds 3 and 4. I don't know. I gave Parker 3 and 4, but arguably, you can flip-flop those rounds. But at the very least, it's a 1-2 point swing either way. I thought it was razor close. But with that being said, Joseph Parker, I thought in the first 2 rounds was fighting the fight that he needed to fight. Fighting from the outside, using his jab, using his quick hands, throwing that straight right down the pike, stepping in, stepping out, resetting, move inside to side, making Dillian Whyte have to lunge at him a little bit, because he was doing a good job of gauging the distance and fighting, and having the position he wanted to have, where it was advantageous to him. He was fighting his game. He was the ring general in there for the first 2 rounds. Even rounds 3 and 4, I thought he was doing the same thing. But for whatever reason, rounds 5 through 10, I got to give Dillian Whyte credit, because he started to realize that, you know what, I got to do something different here. I can't box with this guy. So he turned it into kind of an ugly fight a little bit, a mauling type fight. And he would just come in and just bum rush him. And he was just kind of try to steamroll him. And there was times you just grab him, throw him against the ropes, push him back, throw him down on the ground. And the thing that pissed me off was, all the while that he was doing this, Joseph Parker's touching his gloves at the end of the round, like, good round. Meanwhile, this guy's manhandling you, and he's pushing the envelope. I'm not saying maybe points shouldn't have been taken away, because I thought Whyte did just enough to kind of, walk that tightrope where he could probably get warnings or whatever. I know people complain that the ref allowed all that stuff to go on without even issuing warnings. Maybe he did here and there, but he allowed Dillian Whyte to fight the way he wanted to fight. But with that being said, Joseph Parker just for whatever reason, just allowed that to happen. He was touching gloves. It was almost like he conceded to Dillian Whyte. And instead of biting down on his mouthpiece and fighting the fight that he could fight, it was frustrating to me that he allowed himself to get manhandled and bullied without doing anything in return. Now, again, I'm not in there. I know it's easy for us to be on the outside and sit there and say, he should have done this, he should have done that. We're not the ones taking the punches. But what kind of confirmed my point is, look what Joseph Parker did in rounds 11 and 12. You know what I'm saying? Because credit to his trainer, Kevin Barry, said, you got to do something dramatic. You got to get on him. You got to hurt him. You got to knock him down. You got to knock him out. And he lit a fire into Joseph Parker in the rounds 11 through 12. He stepped it up. And we saw what happened. Granted, Dillian Whyte got tired, but Joseph Parker, I think, kind of conceded, and he just didn't have that fire under him. He knows he's in the other guy's backyard. He knows the magnitude of this fight, and I just did not see that dogged determination in him like he wanted to win the fight. And after the fight, I never seen a guy so happy that he lost. He's smiling, hugging, laughing, and like he didn't care he lost. So I think Joseph Parker is a nice guy, and there's a lot of nice guys in boxing. Andre Ward was a nice guy. Sugar Ray Leonard was a nice guy. Vanna Holyfield was a nice guy. Lennox Lewis was a pretty decent guy. A lot of guys are nice guys, but when you're in that ring, you got to be a killer. You have to have that killer instinct. And those guys that I just mentioned were nice guys, but when they were in that ring, they would do anything that they had to do to win. And Dillian Whyte impressed me because he fought with such heart. He knew he couldn't box this guy. He knew he was at a disadvantage in a lot of areas. It wasn't like he was going to outbox Joseph Parker. So once he realized that this guy is starting to have his way with me, fighting the fight he wants to fight, he bit down on his mouthpiece and he said, I am going to turn this into a war. I'm going to make this a back alley brawl. And he did whatever he had to do to upset Joseph Parker, make him uncomfortable. And Joseph Parker just, to me, it was frustrating to me seeing what he did in rounds 11 to 12. Why couldn't he do that in rounds 8, 9, and 10? It's just frustrating because when you look at Joseph Parker, you see flashes of really great boxing. And I cautioned before the fight that he can't get into these lulls, and he went into a lull. He got tired. Now, was he getting tired because Dillian Whyte was landing some good body shots? Was he getting tired because he was being pushed around and mauled and wrestled with? Did that fatigue him a bit? Possibly. But at the end of the day, at the end of the rounds, he's touching gloves like, okay, man, good, that's good. Instead of saying in his mind, going back to his corner, I can't let this guy do this to me. I'm gonna give it right back to him. He didn't have that mentality that I'm gonna give it right back to him. He allowed himself to be controlled in there, and it looked at some points that he was even intimidated. And again, I'm not in there. I know it's tough. Trust me. And I wouldn't want to be in there with a Dillian Whyte. Trust me. So I'm not questioning anyone's heart or anything, but you have to get the sense, and I think all of us can get the sense that we know Joseph Parker can do more. We've seen him do more, and it just looked like he didn't want to be there. He was complacent, and he just had a look on his face like, maybe I don't want it that bad. And that's what was frustrating to me. And then after the fight, him smiling and laughing like it wasn't a big deal that he lost. It seemed to me that he was just happy to be there. But in the same token, I don't want to take anything away from Dillian Whyte, but I just can't, not think to myself that Joseph Parker had the ability and skills to do a lot more than he did. And I never like to say that because I don't want to ever criticize a fighter for not putting it all out there, because it takes a great deal of courage to get in that ring. And I'm the last person to ever criticize, someone's mentality going into a fight. But this is actually a compliment to Joseph Parker. I just think he's that good of a boxer where he could have done more. I thought he had the ability to do a lot more, and for whatever reason, mentally, he allowed himself to get psyched out of this fight in rounds 5 through 10, in my opinion. So I don't know. You go into the guy's backyard. This is a crossroads fight. This is a do or die fight. This dictates whether or not you're back in the mix for a title shot. And you gotta want it a lot. You gotta want it more. You gotta just want it. You really gotta want it. And I question whether or not he really wanted it. And I feel bad having to question that. I don't feel comfortable questioning that. But I have to tell you the truth. That's what I felt watching this fight.
I don't know that he was, it's almost like when that happens, like when they start tagging hands like that, or you see one guy overly friendly, because I don't think Dillian Whyte was overly friendly. I mean,
No, not at all.
he's in a fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost like an intimidation thing. Like he's gotten
Yeah.
you're intimidated, and it doesn't
Yeah.
mean you're a better boxer. It doesn't mean he's scared. I think he was just intimidated.
Yeah.
You know? That's my thing, man. It just looked to me like he was a little intimidated, because I think we all expected more out of Parker. I mean, especially after that weigh-in, I expected a whole lot more from Parker. But again, White's no slouch. I mean, White's a good fighter. And he's the number one contender now for the WBC. I mean, he's been, but according to Eddie Hearn and Dillian Whyte, he's been the number one contender for some time now. That's who I would like to see Deontay Wilder face, because Joshua's not, I mean, he's not even on Joshua's radar right now. He's fighting Povetkin. So fight Dillian Whyte, man. And that's your mandatory anyway. You might as well. You got nobody else to fight. He's got nobody else out there.
But could we agree on one thing possibly?
Yeah.
Joseph Parker was not outskilled yesterday. He was outwilled. He allowed himself to be outwilled.
Yeah, for sure.
And 90, and when you look at any fight, and you have two things. You have skill on one side, you have will on the other side. Skill is supposed to win it like 90% of the time. Skill usually trumps will.
Yeah.
You can have all the heart in the world, but if you don't have the ability, may he rest in peace, Arturo Gatti. I'm not saying he didn't have boxing ability, but there's been many times where he outwilled his opponents when he was being outskilled. But when he was in there at the top level, cream rose to the crop, and he could not outwill the elite guys. I'm not saying Dillian Whyte's an elite guy, but he's at the top of the division. Joseph Parker's at the top of the division. When you have that much of a skill advantage over an opponent, your skill should trump their will. And it just didn't pan out that way. So Dillian Whyte, credit to him. He fought on pure heart yesterday. He did whatever and even him staying in the fight in round 12, that showed me how bad he wanted it. I just don't think Joseph Parker, I have no premise to say this, but I just don't think Joseph Parker wanted it as bad. And it bothers me because he should have wanted it as bad. It makes no sense to me that he didn't want it as bad. And it's almost frustrating to me. I didn't bet the fight. I didn't lose money on the fight. But again, this is just a compliment to Joseph Parker. I think that highly of him as a boxer. I think he's a good boxer. I think he has a lot of skill. I think he's a great outside fighter. I think he's great at gauging distance. I think he has a peach of a right hand. I think he's a great counterpuncher. I think he moves very well on his feet. Always has balance. Always has his legs underneath him. He's a solid heavyweight. And it just seems to me like it's talent gone to waste. That's just the way I look at it.
Yeah, it's a tough ask. It really is for Parker to go into the O2 where they're all cheering for Dillian Whyte and Dillian Whyte. That's an intimidating proposition, man. Yeah. For anybody.
But you got to know, under those circumstances, that they're not going to give you anything. You got to take it, and that's why I was wondering, like Deontay Wilder, for instance. You can say whatever you want about him. He had every reason to probably bow out in that 7th round, and this guy he's a killer. When he's in that ring, and again, forgive me if I'm offending anyone. Murder, blah 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 blah. I'm speaking hypothetically here. I'm speaking facetiously. He's a killer in there. All right, he's a killer in there. He wants to win that bad, and I think even credit to Anthony Joshua. You can say whatever you want about him. In that Klitschko fight, he wanted it bad. That's why his will made him get up after that 5th round knockdown and go back at Vladimir Klitschko.
Yeah.
And I just think Joseph Parker needs to have some of that same mentality. Really does.
I will go along with that. This wasn't a bad card. You had Dillian Whyte and Joseph Parker. That was an amazing fight. Derek Chisora versus Carlos Takam. Chisora knocked out Takam in the 8th round. You said, and I didn't get to watch any of these fights after that one, but you said that Chisora was losing just about every round, and Takam
he may have won. Yeah, he may have won one round, if that. Possibly lost all of them.
And Takam's another guy who everybody dumps on. but is a really solid fighter. He's a really
Very
good
solid.
fighter.
Very solid
fighter, man. And Chisora knocked him out in the 8th round. Conor Benn. Did he win unanimous? How did Conor Benn look against Cedric Peynaud?
Looked pretty solid. The first fight that they had, obviously got knocked down a few times in the first round. He was a clear winner this time. I thought he did very well. Fought very patiently. Stuck and move a lot. I didn't get any heated exchanges. Like he didn't go to war. He basically went in there with the mentality that I'm just going to win the fight. I'm not going to try to do too much, throw too many punches, try to get any slugfest type exchanges. I'm going to score and then get out of there. And I think he boxed very well. Boxed very well. Fought off the jab very well. Stuck and moved, went in and out. I thought it was a solid performance.
All right. Now, Joshua Buatsi had a first-round knockout over Andres Pokumenko. I didn't know if you caught this one or not.
I did not see this one, though.
All right. And, I'd like to see maybe, again, he's a young fighter. Maybe and they're going to still build him along or whatever, but he seems like he's got a big upside to him. I mean, he really does.
I'm hearing good things about him. The competition obviously has been soft because he's still in his infancy stages of his career. But what I'm hearing is the kid's got freakish power. So,
yeah, it's insane. Katie Taylor versus Kimberly Connor. Katie Taylor won via 3rd round TKO. Thoughts?
I really like Katie Taylor.
I heard she's fighting Serrano next. Cindy Serrano, I want to say.
Oh, yeah. Not the Amanda one though.
I think it's Cindy, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, is it Cindy? Oh, okay.
Maybe it's one of the Serrano sisters.
Yeah. Probably Cindy. I'm sorry, because Amanda's a little smaller. That's correct. But she's a really good boxer. I'm telling you, she reminds me a little bit of Golovkin in the way she moves forward, but she's really good at slipping shots, rolling shots. And as she's moving forward, she's throwing punches, and she's just changing the trajectory of those punches. She'll start off throwing a right hand, and her opponent will come up like this. And as it's coming out straight, right at the end of it, she'll turn it and loop it. Like, she can change the trajectory of her punches on the turn of a dime. She's perfect and beautiful at just threading the needle. Another one of those fighters that you give them that much, and they can still get in there and hit you with some clean shots. She's a good body puncher. It's good, works off the jab very well. She just steps around shots. Another fighter that does a lot of subtleties in there, that doesn't use a lot of excessive movement. But like I say, she can get, a lot out of a little. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like she's overly flashy, but she's just a fluid combination puncher. She knows how to cut that ring off. She knows how to stalk you and walk you down and push you back. And she's just solid all around. She's hard to hit clean because she's very good defensively. How she moves her head, keeps her hands up high. Doesn't just stand right in front of you, throw a punch, step to the side, come up underneath. She's just a very skilled, fluid combat. I think she's the best female boxer in the world right now. I think she's got more skill and talent than Clarissa Shields, in my opinion. I just think she's a better. I think she's a better combination puncher. I think she sets up her shots better. She commits to the body. She works off her jab. Doesn't lean in and get overly aggressive and fall off balance. Doesn't lunge. She's just a solid pro. I like her a lot. She looked good last night. Really sharp.
Reese Mack in the chat says, "Can you beat Breakhus?" Celia, and I don't know what is the weight difference on that, Beeb? Are they both?
He's a welterweight. She's a welterweight, and Katie Taylor is a lightweight.
That's what I thought there was a good between them. Yeah.
But Hearn did say after the fight that she's running out of challenges, and she's going to have to eventually move up in weight to get bigger fights. So she could go up to 147 eventually. I don't know if it's going to be in the immediate future, but maybe next year at the end of the year she could go up to 147.
Yeah, I think she would beat Breakhus. She's so
Yeah,
Both-
she'd beat her.
Her and Break Hughes are both real technical fighters. I like Katie Taylor a little bit better. You know what I
She's
mean?
strong, Katie Taylor. She's
Yeah.
strong. She's a sharp, she's a hard puncher.
Yeah, for
She's
sure.
a hard puncher.
For
I
sure.
mean, I wouldn't want to cross her if I was like in a bar with her one day. She could probably turn her right hand over and knock the Beeb down. I can see it happening. She's that good.
Oh my goodness. All right, let's talk about the upcoming fights here.
Thanks, ladies. Both ladies. Anyone can knock the Beeb down. A lot of faith in the Beeb.
Oh, look at him piling on a Beeb. He lost a bet. Now the ladies are piling on him. Oh,
I already took a pie in the face. Now
I
Now
know.
I'm getting my comeuppance by these two young ladies.
Horrible. All right, August 3rd. I don't have my savant with me, so I'm just going to guess it. August 3rd, I think it's a Friday. From Sydney, Australia on ESPN Plus, Billy Dibb versus Tevin Farmer, 12 rounds for the vacant IBF junior lightweight title. From Mexico City on Telemundo, Antonio Tostado versus Uriel Lopez, 10 rounds, junior featherweights. Also, later that day, from Las Vegas on Bounce TV, Ladarius Miller versus Dennis Galarza, 10 rounds, lightweights. And Juan Heraldez versus Kevin Watts, 10 rounds, junior welterweights. And a lot of fights on that card, but not a lot of great fights, not a lot of good fights. So just go forward here.
Eric,
Yes.
why does Jason keep doing this to himself?
What?
He says,
I don't see him
Beeb.
in the chat. Hold on. I don't see him in the chat.
He said, Beeb, I sent Eric a video of Andre Berto saying that he trains with 20-ounce gloves. Didn't Jason say 22-ounce gloves?
Number one, he said 22-ounce gloves.
He said 22-ounce gloves.
Video. I said, look, man, I'll take your word for it. Berto says if you say Berto says in the video, I'll take your word for it. I don't need to know anymore.
But he said 22-ounce gloves last
He
week.
did say 22-ounce gloves because I said.
And now he's saying, I told you. See, I'm right. No, you're not right because 20-ounce are not the same as 22.
One or two guys in the boxing world may use 20-ounce gloves to spar. Everybody else uses 16. And
Even
somehow
Brianna uses 16-ounce gloves when she spars. Who uses pillows when they spar? Stop it, Jason.
That's funny.
When I'm holding the mitts for Brianna, she's not using 22-ounce gloves.
16. She's got heavy hands too. Got heavy hands. Boom. All right. August 4th from Atlantic City, I believe this Saturday on HBO, Sergey Kovalev versus Elider Alvarez, 12 rounds for Kovalev's WBO light heavyweight title. On the undercard, Dimitri Bivol versus Isaac Chilemba, 12 rounds for Bivol's WBA light heavyweight belt. Frank Galarza versus Alex Duarte, 10 rounds junior middleweights. Now, whether that'll be on there or not, I don't know. Those are two solid fights. Those are two really, really good fights, man. On Saturday also, from Uniondale, New York, on Fox Sports, Devin Alexander versus Andre 20-ounce Berto, 12 rounds welterweights. Peter Quillen versus J. Leon Love, 10 rounds super middleweights. Sergey Lipinets versus Eric Bonet, 10 rounds welterweights. There's Eric Bonet again. Marcus Brown versus Lenin Castillo, 10 rounds light heavyweights. Louis Collazo versus Bryant Perella, 10 rounds welterweights. And Gary Antoine Russell, that's Gary Russell's brother. They're all named Gary Russell. Versus Jose Arturo Esquivel, 6 rounds junior welterweights. Gary Russell's other brother is on there against the dreaded TBA. That's a good card, except for the main event. The main event sucks, but everything else is not bad. There will be some boxing on BN Sports. No listing though. No listing for who's going to fight there. Let's see here. What else we got? That's about it. That's about it, folks, for this weekend. All right, so let's talk real quick, Beeb. Let's talk about Sergey Kovalev versus Elider Alvarez.
Wow,
that's a good fight. I think
I'm on the fence with that one.
I am too. I could go either way. I really could.
Yeah.
I like Alvarez a lot. That's a toss-up to me. Because Kovalev really, I mean, I don't know. He hasn't really done it for me since his losses to Ward. But yeah, I like. I think Alvarez might get him.
Yeah, I'm leaning that way.
Yeah,
I'm leaning that way.
All right, let's talk about Dimitri Bivol versus Isaac Chilemba. This is a this is a awesome fight, man.
It's a really good fight.
Chilemba is no pushover, man. This is going to be a good. Now I see Bivol winning this fight, but I'm interested to see how he wins this fight. This is a solid match, man.
Yeah.
Very good fight.
It's going to see if he can get Chilemba out of there because it's hard to get Chilemba out of there.
This is going to be a good measuring stick for Bivol. It really
Yeah.
is. So, yeah, that'll be really cool. All right. Let's see here. Before we go to the news and rumors, let's go to the phones. 937, you're live.
Hey, what's good, fellas?
Wood, what's happening?
What's up, Wood?
Oh man, not much.
So, what did you think about the fights this weekend?
Breakdown, I think on the Garcia, I was finishing some stuff in the yard. I missed y'all's breakdown on Garcia and Easter.
I thought that, and I don't know what you thought, Wood. I thought Easter looked pretty good in the first part of that fight. I thought he was using his height. I thought he was using his jab very well. It was a different Easter than we're used to seeing. And I thought it would take Mikey Garcia a couple of rounds to catch up with him. I think we all kind of thought Garcia was going to win this fight. I just didn't. I thought Robert Easter kind of gassed out in the mid to late rounds, and I thought he spent a little bit too much time on the ropes. But overall, I was really impressed with, like I said, the trainers and everything, what the difference that he had from his last fight to this fight. But we just thought that Garcia was just on another level.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with you. I was kind of shocked to see how he kind of faded in the middle part of the fight, and maybe when things were picking up, getting ready to go into the championship rounds, where he seemed to kind of take some rounds off and whatnot. And I'm like, kid, you're down in this one. What are you doing? I really didn't understand that. And then, yeah, just being a younger fighter and everything, I was a little shocked, and never seeing him really have stamina issues or anything in previous fights. I just shocked to see that happen. But of course, some different things were being done to him that probably caused a certain amount of discomfort and whatnot. But I was just shocked to see that he never really just went into a fight mode, and I don't know. People were saying that he should have fought tall. I really subscribe to thinking something better for him might have happened if he did fight inside and was able to slip off of Mikey and maybe catch Mikey with something that he didn't see, versus trying to sit back and stay behind that jab all night. I felt like using his length kind of got used against him at a certain point, and whereas if he would have been able to mix it up a little bit and be a little bit more creative, and like I said, just I just felt like he didn't do anything unexpected all night long, or give Mikey any wrinkles to have to figure out or anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, like I said, I mean, I think he fought that way. I want to say, Beeb, maybe you remember this in the 9th round. You remember in the 9th round where Easter just kind of bit down and just started fighting him. You know what I mean? I thought he got tagged again. Tagged again. So I really thought that, like I said, he had the game plan in the first part of that. I think what wore him down is the pressure that Garcia was putting on him, though. It's really tough. It's really tough to go backwards. It's really tough to go backwards all fight when a guy, and Mikey Garcia was doing a really good job cutting that ring off. If you watch him, he's not following Easter. He's cutting that ring off, and that's a hard way to fight, going backwards all night. And Easter finally ended up. But I think the pressure is what actually gassed him out more so than the body attack. Because I don't know that he was getting many shots to the body. I know he was doing body work, but I don't know how much was actually landed. You know what I mean?
Agreed. The thing that I don't understand is, I got into some of the conference calls and whatnot, and was following the press kind of closely, and of course it was all about Cunningham being involved last week on the international press call or whatever. Cunningham was on the call with Rob Easter Jr. and was just talking about what he was bringing to the team. And it struck me pretty odd that Cunningham was on the outside and not being the main voice in the corner, during the in between rounds and whatnot. And I'm like, your father, Easter Senior hadn't been able to get his son to make certain adjustments and change up different things in these last couple of fights. So what did you bring the guy in for? I mean, if he supposedly put the game plan together, and it just seemed like some unnecessary confusion on such a big night for Easter Jr. I don't know if it was some kind of last minute internal struggle or something with the team, but that just caught my attention.
Well, I think a situation like that, it's all dependent on what the fighter wants. And what the fighter's comfortable with.
Definitely.
And if he was more comfortable with the trainer outside the ring giving him instructions, I mean, look, the trainer can give him instructions outside the ring as well as he can inside the ring. So I don't think it matters too much, but I think it's all like what voice does that fighter want to hear when he comes back to that corner? You know what I mean? And he knew what the game plan was. I mean, he knows what the game plan was coming in. So, I don't know if it was like a power struggle between I view it less as a power struggle, because I thought that what he implemented in this fight versus what we saw in the last fight was like night and day. I thought it was a different plan.
Right.
I thought he fought completely different than we've seen him fight in the past. And I thought that when he went back to his style, like I said, in that ninth round, when he actually, I think it was the ninth, again, I could be way off, but it was
the ninth.
Yeah. When he bit down and said, the heck with it, and just threw caution to the wind and started fighting him, I thought that he did good in that round, but I also thought he got clipped in that round too. And I thought that he got hurt in that round. I mean, he clipped Garcia, but I don't think he was hurt. I don't know that he was hurting Garcia as much as Garcia was hurting him, because Garcia, he can take a shot, but yeah, I mean, he was getting clipped when he did that. And when he was doing, if you looked at those first 3 rounds, when he had that stiff jab out there, that was a good change for him, I thought.
I mean, he went away from the jab really quickly. He came out similarly in the Fortuna fight and was on his jab. And then maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes into that fight, he just threw that out of the window and went into the garbage that, some of the garbage that we saw with Fortuna. But
right.
I don't know. I just, going back to that, I felt like a major plus to bringing in Cunningham was Cunningham's instruction, encouragement, and maybe making him more uncomfortable. The same way that he challenged Broner, when Broner was in there against Jesse Vargas a couple months ago. I thought that was a big key to Broner staying on task and looking well that night and coming back when he needed to come back. And I just felt, I don't know, I just don't feel like he's really responding to his father, or I don't know. It just caught my eye. You bring the guy in to run the show, and then on fight night, he's kind of playing second fiddle. And I don't feel like he interjected himself into what was going on during the fight as he might have needed. But whatever, it's just something that caught my eye.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
It wasn't lost on us either. Yeah, definitely.
For sure. It's definitely a good point.
You kind of wonder, was there a power struggle going on there, or what was the deal? You don't know. I mean, nobody ever knows the inner workings, but I tell you what'll be interesting is if Easter has him in for the next fight. You know what I mean? Does Easter bring this guy back? So if Easter brings this guy back, I think we can assume it's probably going to be the same thing. Where it could be like a Lou Duva, and who was
Georgie Benton. Remember Lou Duva and Georgie Benton? They had a good team. They had an awesome team together, weren't they? Good together?
Where Lou Duva was like the corner man, but Benton was the guy who made the game plans up. He was the guy that would give you the game plans and everything like that, and Lou Duva was the actual trainer.
And Lou Duva would sit in the corner and go, "You're boxing beautiful, baby. You're boxing beautiful, baby."
Boxing beautiful out there.
That was awesome.
Yeah, but I'm with you, Eric. I think, and I said it months ago on here, I really felt like at some point Wilder would have to see Dillian Whyte, to get to Joshua, unfortunately. But I'm just I'm just starting to see that Whyte's. I like Whyte's enthusiasm towards boxing and wanting to, not many guys are running to the ring to face Wilder, and Whyte's one of the guys that seemingly wants to step up and take on that challenge. I don't know business wise how it works out and whatnot, but I am starting to want to see that fight a little more and more.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Do you think, let me ask you a question. Okay, so you saw I don't know if did you catch the Dillian Whyte, Joseph Parker fight? I know you said, and what do you think of Dillian Whyte versus Deontay Wilder? Do you think that fight can come off?
As I'm saying, out of business wise, I don't know how it gets done or if it gets done. But it just seems like Wilder needs to do something. I actually didn't get to check out the fight because I'm with you. The fights that aren't out here on, reputable or credible platforms, I hate just clicking on some of this stuff and taking a chance on some of this with a virus and whatnot.
Exactly.
I do everything through my laptop. I'm trying to get articles together and editing video and all that stuff. And I hate to put some of that, click on some of that stuff just to catch fights sometimes. So I'm with you regarding the zone. It could become very important moving forward, and it could be, a must-have for some of us that have podcasts or write or just big-time fans, big-time boxing fans out there. I really wasn't considering the zone based on the price tag for it, but if it's going to allow you to see full undercards and allow me to see some of the big time fights that I really need to talk about for my podcast and whatnot, then I guess I might have to strongly give it more consideration.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, I'm kind of with you, man. I it's kind of, the streams are kind of hit or miss. But again, when you go and find a stream out there, you got to worry, like Beeb was saying, about the pop-ups. You got to worry about viruses. You got to worry about, even if you have a Mac or whatever, it doesn't matter. I mean, you're still susceptible to viruses. It doesn't change things. So, yeah, for sure.
Right. I don't feel like some of them want your email or something, or some of the stuff, man. I just don't know what the heck I'm clicking on, and you get excited. Fight, you get a little desperate, you see hear what's going on Twitter or something, and you feel like you're missing out, and you get a little desperate and click on something just to see it, and then a week or so later or whatever, you got different tech problems with the equipment. So I'm just, like I said, some of these fights I feel a little bad because I don't get to see everything. I'm a little jealous hearing Beeb break everything down, but I guess I gotta come in vicariously through Beeb.
We all live vicariously through Beeb.
Right.
Oh, thank you, guys.
It just turned into a region, in the region, the thing that pissed me off this weekend, man, it was it was all lower level guys, but Antonio Nieves, I think, was fighting on an event down in Columbus yesterday that had like 13, 14 fights scheduled or something. And the guy that organized it, I guess he's not really a promoter. He's more of a matchmaker or something, but it was horrible to try to get information about it. I tried to reach out to the guy to go cover it or, try to put some more light on it or whatever. He never responded. And then, so then also at the same time, Real Deal Boxing had a card down in Louisville yesterday. And they announced it like 2 weeks before the fight was when they finally put information out there on it. And I don't know if you know that Joshua Temple cruiserweight that they have. He's somebody that I wanted to see. And then it's a welterweight out of Detroit named Janelson Boca Chica. I wanted to check him out because I saw him at the at Real Deal Boxing's event back in April or whatever.
The one in Louisville?
And then also the female from out of Toledo, Alicia Baumgartner, she was fighting. So I drove down there and tried to get into that and was turned away. And it's just, I don't know how you put stuff together in the region, and it's like people gotta crack some kind of code or something, or get an invite to even check it out and see what's going on with some of these different prospects. I mean, we don't get much in the Midwest,
right?
So it's like some of these cards, like I said, for some of us, I prefer to go to fights if they're local.
Right,
but,
right.
It's amazing that you can't even you can't even keep track of what's going on and know who's fighting. It's ridiculous.
Well, did you remember the one card they had out here at in Cincinnati when Hank Lundy was on that card? It was like a
exactly.
New Year's card or something like that. How poorly run that one was. That was horrible. I mean, nobody even knew about it. There was less than 50 people in that audience. Paid less than 50 people paid for that fight. I was like, I mean, you seen it, man. I was like, they had all these chairs set up from like the front up to the back. Like 50 of them were taken. I mean, nobody knew. I mean, nobody. They did such a horrible job with that, man. And then you talk to the guy. Huh? Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and for local fans to get to catch a guy with the skill level of Hank Lundy, to get to catch him for $25, $30 or something, and to not have a bad seat in the house, that's an awesome thing for for somebody in the Midwest.
He charged a $200. There was $200 tickets for that fight.
Oh. Jeez.
It was like he tried to do some VIP package, right? So where it was $200 and you get a front row seat, obviously, you get a front row seat, right? And then you get to go meet the fighters in back. I'm like, you don't want to do that. You don't want to meet the fighters right before they're going out to fight. You don't even want to meet them once they're done with the fight, because it's not going to be what you think it's going to be. You know what I mean? They're going to be tired. They got beat, or they, it's not, I don't know. It was just a silly thing, man.
Yeah, and that's this thing in Louisville, man. I get down there, the building, like I'm reading online about how this Davis Arena, and they even announced it. Actually, it was funny because in the parking lot, I ran into the one ring announcer, the white cat with the dreads that was at the World Boxing Super Series last week. And I'm like, wow, last week Russia, this weekend in the middle of America in Louisville, huh? And we just joked around for a quick minute. But yeah, I'll go up in here and it's like a shipping, it's in some industrial park, and it's just like some loading dock or something, and on the side of it is this building that they've turned into, I guess they do some kind of semi-pro wrestling or something in there.
Right.
And I get up in there, and the lady is trying to give me shit about, you got to buy, the only way you're getting in is $35 or $50.
Yeah.
And
I ain't getting in.
I'm looking at the list of media people they have in there, and I'm just like, who's actually going to cover anything? Who's even going to get the word out about what any of these guys are doing afterwards? You just got some people who are just coming in here to watch a fight for free. I can't pay you $35 to come in here and work. When I get home tomorrow, I got to go to work for you guys. But anyway, needless to say, Wood ended up driving home without seeing nothing. So, it was what it was.
There it is. All right, Wood.
But
good call, man. And hey, you got your podcast back up and running and everything, or what's going on with you?
Yeah, I've been doing it. I still been doing it, but actually, I had a chance. So I launched my own boxing website. Like the world needed another.
What is the website?
BiteDownBoxing.com.
There you go.
And I wanted to get a podcast for it, but I didn't know how to kind of spin it off from my regular podcast. And some guy out of New York, Team Left Jab, he's on Instagram and Twitter and whatnot. He hit me up on IG and asked me if I wouldn't mind doing a podcast on their network. So I actually just dropped the first Bite Down Boxing podcast this week. And that's kind of what I'm doing now, just boxing only. I have opportunity to just focus on boxing and kind of emulate the Ringside Reporter.
Well, you do a much better job than we do, I'll tell you that. Good deal, man. All right, Wood, man. Well, don't be a stranger, man. Call up, man. You're making a big time now, so make sure to call us little guys, all right?
Yeah, right. Now, I've been listening the last several weeks. I just didn't have much to say. Actually, I was trying. I had been busy. You know, I'm the only guy writing on there. I got one other guy that does a couple of things, but you know, I just try to get enough content on the website and a chance that anybody stops by and you know, is looking for some different information on the sport. So I just been tied up with that, man.
There you go. All right, Wood, we're gonna get running, man. Thank you so much for the call as always, man. I appreciate it. All right, from One Ohio call, Beeb. Where are the best callers from?
Ohio.
That's right. Even Beeb agrees.
Easily.
Beeb,
They may not have the best fighters, but we have the best callers.
They got the best callers. They got the best fighters, and better than anything, we got the belt. We got the champ, and I'm talking right now. 614, you're live.
Hey, what up, guys? It's Marcus.
Marcus, what's
Ohio
happening?
Boxing.
Ohio boxing, baby. Love it.
Marcus.
Oh man, it's been a great week. Even though my boy Robert went down. Shout out to Mikey Garcia. He done beat Broner and Robert. So you know, I didn't hurt it all. You know, Mikey runs Ohio.
I know, right?
Hey, it's great. You know, I'm a hardcore, so I don't take that personal. So
right.
It's good for boxing when Mikey win, and it's good if Robert win. It's been great, man. I went up. I missed the fight. I only caught the last 3 rounds when I got home because I went to the local fights in Columbus at the casino, Hollywood Casino.
Yeah, Wood was just talking about that.
Yeah. I went. I went. You gotta show support to the local fighters. I don't say Ohio runs boxing to create controversy or just think my state is better. I say that because I promote and believe in. I'm proud of where I'm from, and I promote these fighters. I support these fighters, and I'm not just talking about the ones on TV.
Right.
You know, so when I get guys saying, you know, they come in, oh, Ohio don't run shit. I'm like, well, where are you from? I'm from New York. Okay. Well, what's the history on there? Do you know how many world champions you got? Do your research. I want you to be proud of where you're from. You can say Ohio don't run shit and all that you want to say, but be proud of where you're from. And that's the whole thing. I'm actually uniting a lot of people together, and it's been great. You know, I know you see Eric on my page, Kelly Pavlik.
Love it.
And, you know, Darnell Boone. These guys are, you know, they comment, they show me a lot of love and support. And my girl was impressed because this is the second time I took her to a fight. And you've seen a lot of the professional fighters coming up to me, shaking my hand.
Mm-hmm.
And I had my hat that I think you've seen, and I don't think
I love that hat.
You gotta add me on Facebook, man. I go by Ohio.
Okay.
But
yeah.
I'm easy to find. But my hat was just so noticeable. So everybody was coming up to me, and they just knew me. The guys I even met for the first time, and my girl was just like, "Whoa." You know, she was so impressed. Like, they're coming to you. I'm like, yeah, it's cool. It's cool. But I enjoyed myself. Now, getting into the fight, like I said, I missed the Robert fight with the Mikey and the Robert fight. I caught the last 3 rounds, and Mikey was winning. I heard a caller say, you know, was talking about the corners, and I heard y'all guys talked about the corners and stuff. I felt that, too. I felt that looking at watching the end of that fight. And I seen Robert gassed out. I've never seen him gassed out like that. His face was beat up. And I was saying to myself, did he fight the fight he wanted to fight? Or was he just trying to fight the fight Cunningham was telling him to fight? You know what I mean? Was he trying to just stay too disciplined and do what he was taught? You know, and sometimes that's hard for boxers if they don't normally fight that way. You know what I mean? And I was looking at that and I was like, but Mikey, it's great, man. His timing, it's hard for you to time him as well. Because when I was looking and I said, why Robert ain't pulling the trigger? I go to Robert's fight. You know, I've been to a lot of Easter fights, man, before he became world champion. And a lot of people was criticizing Robert about him giving up his height and fighting. And one thing a lot of people don't really think about is when you coming from a small city in Toledo and you're getting fans that come see you fight for the first time, They don't want to see a tall guy using his damn reach,
Yeah.
fighting long.
Not very
They wanna
fan
see
friendly.
Somebody getting knocked out. They
Right.
want to see somebody getting knocked out. So of course I think he's going to give up his height and try to put on a show for the fans. I didn't criticize him for that. I believe style may fight, and I had him. You know, I'm rooting for the Ohio guy, but being realistic, I picked him because I liked his style against Mikey. But Mikey overcame it, and I give him nothing but props, man. Mikey did
Good
his
fighter.
thing. So great. And he's good outside the ring, man. He's a great guy outside the ring,
Yeah.
which I love about him. But now he's talking about fighting Spence. And my question to y'all guys, if he's going after Spence, what does that say about Terrence Crawford? Does that mean Terrence Crawford's the best at 147? Because this guy was where Mikey was. This guy was closer in weight, moved up, and Spence, and Mikey Garcia is saying, I want to fight the best, Spence. Do you really believe Spence is the best, or do you believe his style just matches your style, or you see something that you can capitalize?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Maybe the switch hitter that
Yeah.
you don't like because he can give you. He got too many looks, and that was big to me. I respect Mikey, but I don't know about him going up in weight. Some people was like, oh, he's daring to be great. Me, I look at it like Kell Brooks. Kell Brooks sacrificed his L for $5 million. Let me go up. I don't want to fight Spence yet. Let me go up and fight Triple G. Let me lose. It wasn't everybody thought it's gonna be a competitive. No, it was not competitive. He had a couple rounds, good rounds, the same like Willie Monroe and Curtis. All the fighters they have hit Triple G a couple times, and then it's over. Okay, it's over. So I didn't give Kell Brook props for that. I didn't give Amir Khan props for going up to fight Canelo when he has a glass jaw. Some people get caught up in names. Oh, what Amir Khan, this is the closer that fight got, the more hype people got. Yes, he did good, but we all knew what was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not getting caught up in the hype, I know when a guy goes and shoot at the police, oh my God, he's brave. He done shot 3 cops, but we know what happens at the end. He don't have a good ending, So it's like, I respect Mikey, but I hope he's not just going up in weight just to lose, to say, you know what, hey, I tried. And everybody want to say, oh yeah, he went up in weight. He dared to be great. That to me is just crazy. When you could have fought Terrence Crawford, who everybody is comparing Spence to, as the big mega fight. But you want to take on Spence. It's going to be, I don't think it'll be big leading up. I think people are still going to watch it. But man, look, if he even hang in there for 7 or 8 rounds and still, and make it a competitive fight with Spence, you got to give Mikey credit. So I'm going to, I'm right there on the board. I'm going to give Mikey credit if he lasts 8 or 9 rounds with Spence. That's how highly I think of Errol Spence at 147. That can be actually bigger because he can fight at 154. I think y'all agree, right?
Yeah, and I think just to your point here, I think that he chose Spence for a couple of reasons. Number one, I do think he is the best 147 out there, and I do think he beats Terrence Crawford. But the other thing is, I don't think Crawford's an option for Garcia. He's really not. He's on the other side of the street. He's with Bob Arum. It's not really an option right now. Just like Lomachenko, I don't know that it's really an option for him right now. Bob Arum, Al Heyman, that and not to mention Mikey Garcia left Bob Arum. They're not going to be in a hurry to give that guy a payday. So I don't think Crawford is even in the cards to even call out. I think that's just kind of a waste of a call out. He's not going to get that fight.
No, but you see, even though I agree with you, but even that, you still supposed to call out the fighters, even if you don't think it can be happening, if you can't make it. I mean, we got Dimitri Andreas do it. He signed with DAZN, and then he's talking about Jermell Charlo and all this and get hurt. Like, come on, man, you already know what you did. But some fighters just call out. I just feel like if Mikey should have called Terrence Crawford out just to say, just to call him out if he, to make it interesting and put pressure on Bob. Because believe it or not, they can make that fight happen when you put pressure on Bob. We all know how Bob switched it up. Bob has switched it up. You remember Al Heyman was every name in the book. Okay, they went to court, and as soon as them stables fighters on Top Rank started to get low, his whole language changed about Al Heyman. I know y'all noticed that.
Mm-hmm.
Now all of a sudden he can do business with him, and Al Heyman is good for boxing. You seen how he switched it up? This is YouTube to back that up.
Right.
He said that out of his own mouth. You know what I mean? So I know the fight can happen if you put more pressure on it. I think but right now Spence and Mikey is the closest thing. I think that's gonna be great. What else I want to talk about? Alicia, what's her last name? She's from Toledo. She lost. So she took her first loss.
Yeah.
Last I know, she took her first loss last night. Ohio took some L's, man. We took some L's, man. One thing about the social media that I have fun, people thought I was going to run, Eric. You already seen that they was coming at me.
They've been coming at me all night in the chat, too. So.
Hey, man, they was coming at me, but they know I got a good sense of humor. I take nothing personal, man. As long as everybody is safe and healthy, I'm going to talk my junk, but it's the build a fight and hype up stuff, man. It's all in fun. But yeah, Toledo, Cleveland, it's a lot of great fighters coming out of Ohio, man. It's just the beginning. I respect all fighters all around. My favorite fighter is Terrence Crawford from Nebraska. But, you know, I'm rolling with my Ohio boys, man. That's just what we do.
That's
so, but hey, that's my call, man. I had nothing else. Oh, yeah, that B. One thing I wanted to say. Beeb, I agree with you about the Joseph Parker fight.
Yeah, man.
You hit it right on the head. And you hit it right on the head because everybody was saying that, man. Everywhere I was listening to, they said the same thing. Like, this guy is roughing you up, and you just tapping him, you know, touching his gloves, and y'all break up like, what?
Yeah, man. Thank you, sir. May I have another? It's like, what the hell is that? That was crazy.
Like, everybody saw that. Everybody saw that watch. That's really hardcore. And watch, like, what are you doing? And then you smiling, like, really after you look like that kills me. That kills me.
At the end of that fight, who's happy when they lose like that? Oh.
I don't know.
I was happy when they lose like that. I lost a game of checkers yesterday. I was pissed off. I wanted to flip the board over. And this guy's happy he lost the fight. Come on now. Jesus.
Hey, before I hang up, man. Mikey, you didn't beat Broner, you didn't beat Robert, you didn't beat two of my Ohio guys. You still got Spence, and he's got a connection to Ohio too, you know?
I try to claim Spence.
He's one of us. That's right.
You still got to go to Ohio, baby. You ain't running Ohio till you beat Spence.
That's right. Never running Ohio. Hey, hang on, Marcus. Marcus, hold on. Marcus, real quick before you go, where did you get that hat? That hat is awesome.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I actually got it at the festival here. You know, we have a lot of festivals at Columbus.
Yeah.
I got it at the Asian Festival. I got a couple of them. I got two hats from there. They was only $10. And, you know, I just custom made it myself. I had my logo, and I put the little, you know, flame fire on it.
I was thinking, because you had the fire on it and everything. I saw the logo, but I didn't, like the fire around it looked pretty cool. I was like, no way.
Yeah. That was airbrush, man. I did that. So,
Look at that.
Got it done. I just wanted to be different.
That's awesome,
you
man.
Know how Buckeye guy is at Ohio State. Buckeye, man, he's known. So I was like, if I'm bringing the boxing type mascot type thing going on, man. Everybody knows
that's awesome.
Ohio run boxing is Marcus, man. So that's I'm pushing that, man. I'm really pushing that.
There you go. All right, man, and go check out Ohio Runs Boxing on Facebook. It's a really cool page. He's on just any boxing, most of the boxing forums. He's on there too. But go check him out, man. He's got some really cool stuff. He always puts really good memes up there. He's got a lot of information, so definitely go check him out. Beeb, I just saw perhaps one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in a chat, coming out, of course, Jason's mouth, or I should say off his keyboard. In the chat, I think it got retracted, but it says you can't spell Ohio without an L.
Oh my God.
Moron.
Oh my God.
Right? Does he know how that whole saying works? You know?
Oh my God.
I'll give you an example of how it works. You cannot spell America without Eric. See how that goes? See how it works?
Yes.
There you go. There you go.
He's a fucking mental case is what he is.
And the new 22-ounce glove champion.
We finally got to hear Robbie's voice after. Where is he at?
He got in California. He lives in Northern California where all the wildfires are, and he actually got evacuated from his house. We went over this on the front of the show, but yeah, I mean, he actually got evacuated from his home and everything like that, man. So yeah, I'm just thinking about him, and couldn't be here tonight. Obviously, he's got bigger stuff to handle, so hopefully everything works out for him, man.
Hope you got to see the card last night. I know he likes to watch all the fucking fights and shit.
Yeah, I don't think he was going to be able to watch any. No, I don't think he was going to be able to watch any of them, man. So that was kind of sad. So
where is he? At some hotel or something?
Yeah, they didn't get showtime at the hotel he was at. So yeah, he was.
Shout out to Robbie. I hope he's safe.
Yeah, right, man.
Sometimes I wonder if these fucking government is purposely doing it to fucking run people out of town and shit.
Take it easy, Jesse. Take it easy, Mr. Ventura.
What did Beeb say? What did Beeb say?
He
I
said,
didn't hear him.
"Take it easy, Mr. Ventura."
Muscle, Beeb, always.
He said, "Take it easy, Mr. Ventura." Conspiracy theory.
Eddie Bravo. I'm not Eddie Bravo, dude. Relax. Last night, did you guys watch the undercard on the Facebook and YouTube? That was pretty good. Showtime should do that more often, I think.
I think they should too. I think they should. I don't know why they don't put it on like Show Extreme or something like that. You know what I mean? And put the undercard there. But Facebook is good too. I mean, if you want to put it on Facebook, that's cool too.
What was the best card of the weekend, though? What was the best card of the weekend?
What was the best card of the weekend, though?
What was the best card of the weekend?
Come on, son.
We know what the best card of the weekend was.
We know what the best
card of the weekend.
It's on PBC, motherfucker.
Come on, son.
I mean, the UK was like fucking bunch of fat, washed up guys. Dave Allen, Chisora, White, Parker, fucking all guys coming off losses and shit. Jesus Christ.
That UK card was good.
Ortiz was better than all those 5 heavyweights, and you know it. He's better than fucking White. He's better than Parker.
I don't know it.
Chisora. He already beat Dave Allen.
You already know
that. Yes, you do.
I don't know it.
Beeb does too. Beeb, can you confirm that for the viewers?
I already said Ortiz was the 3rd best heavyweight in the world several times. I said it tonight. I think I'm very high on Luis Ortiz.
Yeah. Well, against Razvan Kajanu. Against Razvan Kajanu.
Did you see?
Come on.
Relax, Eric. Relax. That guy took Parker fucking 12 rounds in like 3 weeks.
12 rounds, Joseph Parker. And Joseph Parker tapped his gloves after every round, but he won 12 rounds.
Wrote him a thank you card after the fight.
Hey,
wrote him a thank you
note. Invite him over his house for Christmas dinner after.
I think Eric forgot about that. Parker went 12 boring rounds with that fucking bum. And the Mexican crowd
22-ounce gloves.
After 1 round, Ortiz was like trying to chase him.
Ortiz, the only reason he wins is because he's wearing 22-ounce gloves.
What ounces do heavyweights wear? Like 14 ounces or what? 12 ounces? What do they wear?
They wear 10s.
10 ounces?
They wear 10-ounce gloves. You nut?
All right, motherfucker. I don't keep up with the heavyweight rules that much.
Heavyweight rules.
You keep up with any rules.
Yeah, but
I don't think you know the traffic rules.
20-ounce gloves. Pros talking about training in 20-ounce gloves.
Oh, stop it, pillows.
I accidentally said 22.
Please.
Yeah, but I probably accidentally thought 22. Maybe I don't know why. Maybe I thought.
Wait, when you ride a bike, do you still wear a helmet?
If not, you should. All right.
When you ride you ride a pedal bike, do you still wear a helmet? You still put floaties on when you go in the pool? Oh my God!
Rolling her eyes at you when you were talking that shit, dude. Brianna was rolling her eyes. I like.
Brianna hits the pads all the time.
Funny, man.
Hits the pads all the time. She was rolling her eyes because of the 22-ounce gloves.
This was last night.
Was it 12,000, wasn't it? Yeah, there was like 12. I think it was 12 something.
12,500.
There was a good crowd. Even on the undercards, there was a good crowd, I thought.
You know what the Munguia Smith attendance was a week before?
No.
$2,300.
In the same building?
Who? No, not in the same building. But why did they put it in a room that only fit 2,500? Because why? Because they're not really. They know they couldn't sell more. I mean, they should be selling a lot more.
I mean, Mikey Garcia is a bigger name than Munguia, and
people always try to use the but a lot of Mexican fans on YouTube and Twitter like to say PBC can't sell this, they can't sell that. Look at that, another fucking event. Look at the fucking crowd. They were fucking washing last night, dude. They were lit, just like the Wilder Ortiz fight. The crowd was lit.
You know what was a great arena last year? Want to know what a crazy arena was yesterday? The O2 Arena. That place was rocking yesterday. The O2 Arena.
How many people did they have there for that one, Beeb?
I don't know. In excess, probably 80,000.
Yeah, was it? Was it full of washed up bums? And then it shouldn't have.
The card was. The card was.
Right, but the people in attendance, it was a lot more than 12,000. I would venture to say.
Yeah, we know boxing is more popular in the UK. I mean, what's your point? We know that. I mean, Jesus Christ, but we're trying to compare US promoters to US promoters. We're not trying to compare US to UK.
Al Heyman and PBC are not promoters.
Yes, they are. They are promoters.
No, they're not.
They promote
No, they're
way
not.
more
They
than
can't.
they promote way.
Al Heyman doesn't have a promoter's license.
No, Heyman is not a promoter.
Not a promoter.
Not a promoter.
He's an event coordinator.
To me, they are promoters. To me, they are promoters. I don't care what I don't care what they call themselves. I'm not.
Still not a
promoter. I don't write a fucking short buzz like you guys. I don't need to see a fucking title promoter. Oh my god, it says promoter, so you must be a promoter. I don't give a fuck.
Listen. When he gives you the company credit card to pay for the car wash, it says advisor on.
Leaders bend the rules all the time.
It says advisor on it, not promoter.
He said when he gives you the company card to pay for his car wash.
I don't care what he does. He can call himself whatever. He's a promoter.
Listen.
They're promoters.
Listen. When you're massaging him, and he pays you with the company credit card, it says advisor, not promoter.
Your lover, fucking Eddie, got exposed. I mean, dude, did you see Eddie's dad? What he said on IFL? He said my son got his head up too far up his ass. He said it's on video. Coogan just uploaded it. It's fucking hilarious. You need to go watch that, dude. He said my son's got his I don't know. I forgot what term he used. He just said some weird British terms. He said his.
I'm gonna change. Hey, Beeb, I'm gonna change Jason's theme music from the PBC to Ellie Seckback's music. Ellie Seckback. Ellie Seckback.
Dude, Ellie's like the encyclopedia and Google of boxing. I get a lot of my news from there. He knows everything. He knows when the fights are being made.
Oh my God! Did you just say that Ellie Seckback is a boxing historian?
Gary Russell versus Leo Cruz in the world.
Ellie Seckback was talking about Evander Holyfield when he fought Tyson, and he said it's not the fight that Tupac came out, and Tupac was dead at the time when they fought. Are you kidding me, Ellie Seckback?
Beeb, you said way dumber shit on this podcast, okay? So stop acting like you're fucking God.
The only dumb shit I say is when I'm quoting you, son. 22-ounce gloves.
Come on, Beeb.
22-ounce gloves.
Hey,
but
I heard Mike Tyson sparred with 30-ounce gloves.
I already knocked out Oliver McCall with 35-ounce gloves.
He probably had to. He was breaking too many fucking ribs. What do you guys think about Leo Santa Cruz and Gary Russell? It's in the works for like the late.
Oh, I love that. Oh my God, love that.
Yeah, it's a good fight.
That's
an
incredible fight.
A lot. That's a good fight.
Who wins that? That's tough. May lean towards Santa Cruz in that one.
I like Russell, man. I don't
know. Like Russell in that one?
Fight, man. Yeah.
I like Leo. Russell as well.
I like Leo on that one.
Yeah, I like Leo. Dude,
Leo's a good fighter.
Beat Gary. If he had more stamina, he would have beat him. He was fucking going to that body like I've never seen anybody do. He was ripping his body. Like that's what Leo's gonna do. Trust me.
Justin Ponce in the chat just said that Ellie Seckback even knows who Mark Breland is.
Did he? Is that what Ellie said to Ness? Ness probably doesn't know anything.
No, Ellie Seckback is like he says, "You don't know who Mark Breland is, sir."
Did you see Spence called out Porter last night on the Showtime broadcast? He said Porter only calls me out when he has a fight sign. When he didn't have a fight sign and I asked him to fight me, he said, I don't need Spence. And now he's got to fight again.
Oh, he's so right, though. I love when he said that. He was so right when he said that.
Right. Because Spence didn't have a fight sign, or not Spence, but Porter never had a fight sign. And Porter said he only wanted to fight Thurman or
I don't
Garcia.
think.
Spence there with a belt. He wanted nothing to do with him.
I think Garcia beats Porter anyways. I don't think Porter's going to win that fight.
Fucking headbutting ass. I'm tired of that shit.
I don't think he's going to beat Garcia. Garcia is a better boxer than him.
He is. He really is.
Do you know the purses?
He's a good fighter.
Do you know the purses from last night, Eric? Did you reveal the purses?
I did not because I really wasn't interested.
1 million and 500K for East. 1 million for Mikey, 500K for Easter plus gate.
There you go.
So those guys are doing good, man. Those guys. That's what GGG made his last fight, and people say Mikey's not a big star, but they could say GGG's a big star. So
how much did you get for doing Al Heyman's laundry? Did he give you like a 5 spot?
Relax. That's your wife's job.
He gave you a 5 spot. Relax. He gave you a 5 spot for that.
That's why she's been buying all that extra detergent. Relax.
He gave him a 5 spot to rub his shoulders.
Dude, Lara made 1 million too. So Lara's balling. I just saw a video of Lara balling in Cuba.
I never seen someone else get so excited about someone else's money.
I have never seen this. No, I've never.
No.
Never
What do you do when you watch television and you find out someone hit the lottery for 10? Oh wow, man! So and so hit. I don't get excited when other people make money. I care about my money.
Right.
No, but I want my favorite fighters to make more than they're making on Golden Boy's side and Top Rank.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Because when I told you Showtime should sign Wilder to a deal with guaranteed money more than $2 million, you got mad at me. So you don't care about fighters' money.
I didn't get mad at you. I said he's already getting paid money. Why would they pay him more? He just made his fucking career high payday in his last fight.
Let me ask you a question. Look at the highest paid players in any sport. What do they all have in common? They have guaranteed contracts. Give the guy a guaranteed contract with a minimum purse.
He doesn't have guaranteed
like they gave Anthony Joshua's not even American, and they gave him a guaranteed contract. Give Wilder a contract.
Only big stars have those contracts. Canelo doesn't even have a guaranteed contract. What are you talking about, dude?
He signed to HBO. What are you talking about? He doesn't.
Yeah, his purses are different every fight. That's just like a fight deal. It's not like a purse. His purses are different every fight, man. Come on, relax.
Yeah, but I'm sure he has a minimum. I'm sure he has a guaranteed minimum. I'm sure he has a guaranteed minimum.
I guess. But why are you going to Porter Garcia? Get some footage for the fans, man. Come on.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Where's that going to be?
New York.
Oh, it's in New York?
Yeah. If Beeb wants to go, I'll send Beeb.
All our big PBC events at Barclays, we have a long-term deal with Beeb.
All of our PBC events are at Barclays.
Let me find out when you're filling out your W-2, you're putting PBC on the top of that. For employer. Let me find out.
MSG is too dirty for us. Hey, what's the
I should send Jason to that fight. You know what? I should send you to that fight.
You want to go, Jason? I'll pay you airfare.
We'll get you in there.
No, if it was in LA, I'd go. I don't know what
in LA, you're in Georgia.
Me, bro.
You're a Georgia kid. Anyway,
are you gonna fly across country? What's the matter with you? You're a pilot, are you? Do you have like a pilot license or something like that? I saw like you're.
How far is Alabama from Georgia, Jason?
But PB, I mean, I was gonna say New York. I just went there a few months ago for a wedding, but it's fucking shitty, man. It's dirty.
Get out of here. New York's awesome, son. New York's awesome, son.
Atlanta, LA is way better. Colorado, I'd rather go to Colorado. Send me there to cover a fight, Eric.
Sent you there to cover a fight.
Some of that Colorado kush.
What's the matter with you?
But who's on the Danny Porter card? Any clue? Any word?
Yeah, I heard that Danny Garcia is going to be on there. I heard Sean Porter is going to be on there. That's it so far.
No, I haven't heard anything.
Oh, isn't Martin and Konaki on that card? That's what I heard.
Who's on that Joshua? Joshua Povetkin on the card.
Also, Beeb, your boy Eddie the Genius, he's been talking about putting the Andrade and Saunders card in fucking Providence or Boston. How many tickets do you think they're going to sell there? Do you think these guys have big name recognition on these places?
Yeah, I'll send Beeb. Boston.
Who does?
Boston's a big fight town.
I
Fight Town, but nobody fucking knows Billy Ho Sandals and Boo Boo Andrade in America. Okay, that means nothing.
Oh no. Oh no.
How are these bums gonna sell tickets, man? I mean, their first 2 shows with Jacobs flopped. I mean, is this show gonna flop too? What's going on?
They should put it in Foxwoods.
You're the Beeb industry rep,
Yeah.
man. Tell me.
You like Foxwoods?
I love Foxwoods. Yeah, that's like my favorite place in this area. Yeah. Foxwoods is so nice. They put it in Foxwoods, I'll definitely go. Bring my camera down there. Be like, hey, Eddie, I'm that guy that always trolls you on Twitter. You ever get an interview? One thing I like about Eddie, though, he talks to everybody. He talks to everybody.
He sounded kind of defeated. They asked him, Fight Hub asked him, so are Broner and Charlos and Spence done? They're not going to come in the zone. He said, right now we're busy right now. We have our 3 cards. I'm kind of happy with my schedule. I'm kind of happy with my roster. So he knows, man. He kind of fucked up with talking all that fucking shit, promising fans all these big names. He hasn't signed any big names.
Yeah, but he's off to a good start. I mean, I don't think Andre's a bad sign.
No.
I don't think Big Baby Miller's a bad sign.
No,
but he's a known pull-out merchant. Don't you think he can pull out of this fight maybe, potentially? Because he's known to do that, and Billy just honors this too. I'm kind of 50-50 this fight.
You know, that is a good point because they both do pull out of fights. They do. That is true. But from what I hear, they're paying Billy just on his big money. I don't think he's going to pull out.
No. All right, Jason, we're going to get running, man. Thanks for the call
right,
as usual. And
see you later, 22 ounce
gloves, 22 ounce. And looks like we have the best for last here.
From this day, you'll be my new fool.
Here he is. Here he is.
Georgie.
Hey, what's happening? What's happening, people?
What's the word?
It's good.
Video, man.
They should have stopped that Easter fight in the third round. What was it? Second round or third round? Third round. They should have stopped that fight.
All right, so Georgie asked me in the chat, and I didn't answer him, but I'll answer him now. He said, how nervous were you in that third round when Easter went down? I was real nervous because I knew he was hurt when he went down. And let me tell you what, if there was like a minute and a half or 2 minutes left in it, he's not making it out of that round.
We got robbed, Georgie. They should have stopped it in the third.
Should have stopped it. Yeah, I was real nervous in the third round. And I was real nervous throughout the fight because I saw him going backwards on those ropes.
Yeah, he had him on the ropes. He was teeing off on him.
Yeah, he was. I was like, oh.
Listen, I wouldn't bet no pie or anything if I wouldn't knew they put in the contract the 22-ounce glove. Mikey's going to knock him out. Oh, Mikey's going to knock him out with a 22-ounce.
Yeah, they had 22-ounce gloves.
We got set up.
Yeah.
Set up.
They went to the same gym Berta was at yesterday, and they took the 22-ounce gloves.
Listen, man, let me give a shout-out to the UK, brother.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers, they almost bring tears to my eyes. That shit was the best card of the year, bro.
That's a good card, yeah.
Don't know shit about boxing.
That card.
Names or anything, but everything was competitive.
Yeah.
KOs, knockdowns, what the fuck else you want? That shit was crazy. Love it, though. Love it. Fuck it. I wish they keep putting that type of... As a matter of fact, I would not be mad if they do a rematch of everybody on the card and rematch everybody on that bitch. Would not be mad about it. But now let's go to Mikey, man, because Mikey, damn Mikey. I don't know about that 147 deal, brother. That's like too much, B. That's
tough.
Get it, man. He could get a better fight with fucking Lomachenko. He got better chances with him, I think, than with Spence. What you guys think about that?
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
absolutely.
For sure. I'm not 100% sure that he beats Lomachenko, but I mean, he's got a better shot of beating Lomachenko than he does beating Errol Spence. I mean, come on, man. That's a suicide mission.
Spence just got hammers on those hands, and Mikey Power not going to translate at 147 because, like I always said, at 140 to 147, that's a huge difference. People just don't get it. They think it's just like that 7 pound, but that separates the little guy to the middle guy. That's the line right there.
Well, you know, very few people have been able to do that too.
At 147.
Yeah, I mean, what was it? Roberto Duran and Shane Mosley and who was the other guy?
Oh, Shane Mosley never fought at 140. Went right from 135 to 147. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's Roberto.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Shane Mosley in was it Benny Leonard? Who was the guy that I can't remember. It was an older guy. I mean, it was like older type guy.
Maybe you can count with fucking two hands how many people have been really successful from 140 to 147.
Yeah, let alone 135 to 147. Right.
Huh?
Let alone 135 to 147. Because I know he fought at 140. I know he fought Bronner at 140, but you didn't fight anybody any meaningful like a belt fight or anything. You weren't a champion at that point, and you weren't moving up. I mean, you went back down to 135, and he's talking about making the jump back to 147. That's a big deal.
Another point that I want to bring about Mikey is that I watch a lot of boxing. And if you watch boxing for a long time, you see everybody blink. This motherfucker don't even blink. Ever. Is he even human? How the fuck Mikey don't even blink? Even the punch hit him on the face, his eyes are open.
Sign of a good fighter.
Always keep that he keep that target on his view all the time. That's one of the keys of being successful. That he never loses the range. He never loses the where the opposition is at. He's always aware at all time, regardless of what's coming at him. He's crazy. He's crazy. The man got really good reflexes.
You know who else?
Insane.
You know who else used to fight like that with their eyes open on the inside, and it didn't matter if he was getting hit or not. It was Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. He used to fight like that, where you see him and you watch his old fights or whatever, and you watch him when he fought on the inside. He never blinked. He always saw what was coming.
Blinks, bro.
That's a yeah.
Well, imagine that you got to mention Julio Cesar Chavez. Wow, Eric.
Right.
That's crazy. Are we seeing the second coming of the legend?
It's possible. It's possible. He was underrated too when he first before he got that streak really going. After he beat Meldrick Taylor, he became a superstar. But like you talk about, prior to that, he wasn't unknown. I mean, everybody knew who he was. Everybody knew he was good. They didn't know how good though. So, and speaking of good, Henry Armstrong, Tony Mans 2C in the chat just said Armstrong might have been the one that came from 135 to 147. And that rings a bell. I think he.
Oh, he did. He had 135, 147, and 126, 135, 147. I think he had all three titles simultaneously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a killer, man. That guy.
Oh, he was awesome.
Something. And I'm going to fuck it up right now because I'm going to mention it. Nobody in the whole weekend talk about no AJ Wilder situation. Everybody was concentrated on these fights, and this fight delivered.
Yeah, they sure did.
That was amazing. That was great for the sport. Because we seeing all this fucking divide with this situation with the AJ Wilder shit. That was like a breath of, fresh air. Not listening to that crap.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, this is fucking
good. Wilder's name was mentioned at the end of those two fights, though. Wilder's name was mentioned at the end of those two fights as a possible opponent for Chisora and for White.
Well, I think that's good, though.
Come and poke the bear. Come on,
Beeb. I'm just telling the truth.
Wilder Joshua. We were talking about Wilder versus White.
I know. I understand that, but I mean, Wilder's name was brought up at the end.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good.
You see, I know Beeb's gonna have to fuck it up. I bet you he's gonna be Eddie tomorrow.
That's why he took a pie this week. Georgie.
Listen, man, it was great boxing this weekend. Fucking love it. I don't have much to say. No complaints, no mafia, no bullshit. Everything was beautiful, man. It's just good. Fantastic.
When it's good, it's good.
I mean, that's this type of weekends like that, get boxing booming, and get, the casual fans and the hardcores and the people like me, more enthusiastic and bringing more people in. If boxing can keep putting this level of opposition, maybe we can make a run for it. Try to dethrone all these fucking leagues and shit.
Yeah.
But we're still on the bottom of the barrel. Sadly as it is. It's amazing that here in the United States we cannot have 20,000 motherfuckers to watch anybody in a country of 360 million. That's kind of frustrating, you know?
That's it.
Yeah, but the sport of boxing in the United States isn't designed to fill stadiums because they do such great revenue in Vegas arenas and New York and stuff because the tickets are so expensive. They don't when you put stuff in stadiums, the tickets are cheap. You can't generate the same revenue. You know, Floyd Mayweather, he never fought in a stadium. He's part of four of the biggest gates in boxing history. It's just a different setup in the United States. It's just different.
But it should not be that way because you go to Mexico, and I know what you're saying about the tickets prices, but listen, how could you grow the sport if you don't get these people together?
That's true. I mean, you can't expand the fan base if you do put a fight in Cowboy Stadium, even though the ticket. Like when Canelo fought Austin Trout in the Cowboy Stadium, cheapest seats in the house were like $10. But that was like a fight for the fans, you know what I mean?
Well, we need more of those fights for the fans.
I got you.
Because like if you don't hype and get people together, it's just not gonna work. We need this because this pay-per-view. Who's making pay-per-views out there besides Canelo?
That's it.
That's it.
And he's not even American. You understand what? You want your pay-per-view, baby? Create a fan base. Put these fucking motherfuckers in the stadium for free, even if you have to.
Someone
interesting for the big fight.
Reese Mack just said. Reese Mack.
Everybody out there, support, donate. Shout out to you, Eric. You undefeated once again. And I'm outie.
Hey, Georgie, before you go,
yes, sir.
Take a look at the screen and remember, and still undisputed,
Ohio
son.
Run Boxing, Title Town.
That's right, Title Town, son. Good call as always, Georgie.
Reese Mack
too.
Reese Mack just made an interesting comment in the chat. He said Wilder AJ might sell out a stadium.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he said Wilder. I thought he was going to say Wilder White. Okay. Yeah, Wilder AJ would definitely sell out a stadium.
Definitely selling out a stadium. I mean, you're talking like.
I think if Wilder went over to the UK and he fought someone like Tony Bellew, or if he fought Dillian Whyte, or even if he fought Derek Chisora, I think he could sell 90,000.
Wilder going over there, period, is selling a lot of seats.
Yeah, because Wilder's probably known more in the UK than he's known in the United States.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. All right, let's go to the news and rumors here. George Groves and Callum Smith is set for September 28th in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. I would have loved to see that fight take place in England. I think they're making a big mistake, but I know that everything was booked in advance and everything like that. But yeah, you kind of wish that fight was in England, you know. Yeah. Anthony Joshua signs an extension with Matchroom, a 3-year extension with Matchroom to be exact. The contract will start when his first fight was against Alexander Povetkin. So there you go. And Beeb, it's time.
Brianna. Ready?
Chugga, 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 choo choo.
Oh, that's so nice. Love it.
Good job.
Train wreck of the week this week. Jermell Charlo charged with domestic violence. On May 18th, Charlo was booked into the Dallas County Jail for allegedly trying to choke his then-girlfriend, Jasmine Ollison.
90 seconds.
Charlo posted a $20,000 bond and was released. He faces 1 felony charge of assault on a family or house member with intent to impede circulation, according to the Dallas County Police.
Oh, my God.
According to the grand jury indictment issued on June 19th, Charlo allegedly squeezed Ollison's neck and forced her against a fence, floor, and railing on or about May 17th. He also allegedly pulled her hair. Charlo denies the charges and claims he's innocent.
60 seconds.
Not good. Very bad. Very bad. Superfly 3 is now set. We had Superfly 1 and 2, which I thought were really good cards, right, Beeb?
Yes, absolutely. No question.
Superfly 3 is set. Juan Francisco Estrada versus Felipe Orukuda, 12 rounds, junior bantamweights. These are all junior bantamweights. So Donnie Nietes versus Aston Palikte for the WBO junior bantamweight title. And Kazuto Ioka versus McWilliams Arroyo, 10 rounds, junior bantamweights. Gotta be honest, man, not the card everybody was hoping for here. Looks like more of a showcase card than anything else, but we'll see. The other two Superfly cards were pretty good, so we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Beeb, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean,
10 seconds.
They set the bar high and then they're not being consistent with it. You know, it'd be nice to get Inoue back in the States too. I kind of want to see him again after that Danny McDonald fight.
I do too, yeah, but he's in the Super Series now, man. We'll be going.
Oh, that's right. Okay,
yeah,
I forgot he was in there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, man, I can't wait to see him again.
Should he win that? Should he win that whole thing?
I don't know.
Is he the favorite? You think?
It's like a murderer that both divisions in that World Boxing Super Series is like a murderer's row. They got the best guys in there. I mean, they really do. They got best guys on both sets. I don't know. It's going to play out, man. And we'll talk more about it when the time gets closer. But yeah, I can't wait to see it.
So that's good.
Yeah, and it's going to be on DAZN. It'll be on DAZN. Yeah. Again, you hate paying extra.
I'm going to end up buying DAZN. I mean, I talk a lot of shit, but I'll end up buying it.
We talked about like Box Nation and stuff like that over here. Yeah. And that would have been like $20 on, like, say, if it was on DirecTV, it would have been because it's on Sky Sports or whatever. Yeah. And that would have been something we would have gladly paid. So I don't. This is maybe this will be like our Box Nation. I don't know.
If the zone was available to us, we would have gotten that like yesterday's card on the zone. I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we would have. We absolutely would have. We absolutely would have. Cameron Connor, incidentally, in the chat just said DAZN is amazing, one of the best deals out there. So there you go.
Yeah, I'm gonna be buying it, so I'm give it a shot.
I mean, we'll check it out and give it a shot. You know, Billy Joe Saunders. Speaking of being on DAZN, Billy Joe Saunders and Demetrius Andrade set for October 20th. I've not heard a location, but I'm hearing it'll be in the U.S. and shown on DAZN. Jason said he said he heard Boston. I mean, I don't know how much.
I heard Chicago.
Yeah, that's not a bad place for it.
I heard Chicago. What I heard.
Yeah, you know what? Now that I think about it, I do remember hearing Chicago.
That's what I heard. I didn't hear Boston.
Yeah, I don't know.
Where are you gonna put it in the TD North Center? Come on,
Boston. I'll tell you what. If it's in not Boston, but if it's in Chicago, I might head out there. I don't know. We'll see. Danny Garcia versus Sean Porter is now official. It's been official for a while now, but it's been made public. The fight will take place on September 8th in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center. So there you go. That should be a good fight. I like Garcia in that one. I really do. So we'll see what happens. That'll do it for this edition of the Ringside Reporter podcast. As always, you can catch Robert on Twitter at Ringside Robert, or you can call Ringside Robbie's Corner at 917-259-1810. Leave him a message. Wish him well. You can catch Joe Habib on Twitter at jhabib1 and find his YouTube channel at beatingtheoddswithbeeb.com. I'm at Ringside73 on Twitter, and we will see you next week.
All right.